take a trip with me back to 1692. You're a young girl, not much consequence to your family, to society, and you're bored. So, what can you do to entertain yourself? All you have to read is the Bible, maybe one other book, and the chores are monotonous, day in and day out. It's the same. This is what Abigail and Betty found themselves in. And the only future they had that might change would be to find their future husband. Well, one way to do that was a little witchcraft. So they got an egg white, put it in a cup, and went to find their future husbands. Upon looking in the egg white, they started having convulsions, twitching, hallucinations, and they feared for their lives. It must be witches. Upon telling their parents about this, Betty's father, Reverend Parrish, decided to do a little folklore. This wasn't witchcraft. It was different. He had two slaves in his household, John Indian and his wife Tituba, make what was called a witch cake. This was not a cake that you would enjoy. It was made with the urine of those that were afflicted and fed to dogs. If the dogs acted similar to the way the afflicted did, then they knew they were affected by witches. And unfortunately, this terrified the girls even more, causing more twitches and fear. Out of this fear, there were three women named, two of which were Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne. Both women vehemently denied any accusations of being witches. But it didn't stop there. As more and more women and a few men were accused, more names were given. Pretty soon, hundreds were in jail awaiting trial. The Salem witch trials had begun. There was torture, questioning, trials, and shaming. It was chaos. And I ask you, would you have been able to handle it? You see, whether you were guilty or not, it didn't matter. You lost everything. You lost your money, your land. It was taken from you. You, in essence, were ruined if you went into a plea. There was one gentleman, Giles Corey, who refused to take a plea. He would not answer yea or nay. So they tortured him by something called pressing. They put a board on his chest and stones on top of the board. And they continued to add weight to force him to say guilty or not guilty. And upon his last breath, his answer was more weight. You see, it wasn't about who was witches and who wasn't. It was about getting even. The women that were accused were what were called femme souls, rightful heirs to their husband's land, their husband's inheritance. They were widows, spinsters. They had rights that women normally didn't have, and it made the men uneasy. The patriarchy in that time didn't like that these women had a say in society. So, if they could get them to enter a plea, with outrageous charges, such as my cow gave this defective milk. It must be so and so. They are a witch. They could take their land and resell it for a better profit. So, my question to you, looking at Giles Corey, looking at these poor women, what would you have done to keep what you have?